I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. We open on Captain Ahab.
Watch your helm, 2 points.
Azure, port 2 points.
Closing on him. All ahead full.
Dr. Holden, radio message for you. It's urgent.
I'm busy!
The message is from the Seaview trying to tell him he's in restricted waters and needs to turn around now. He doesn't care. He has the whale in his sights.
How do you like that, huh? Hey, big fella, you like that? Tell me! You monster!
Dude, the whale isn't white and you have both legs. Read a different book. He did ask it, how do you like that? I think he has his answer. His boat and the whale just disappeared from the Seaview's sonar. It's not hard to guess what happened, so they'll surface and look for survivors. Found one. In his cabin, Admiral Nelson is seeing to the reason the area is restricted.
Just a minute.
Looks like a detonator, doesn't it? Hold on to your socks.
So, wouldn't mind telling me where I am?
You're aboard the submarine, Seaview. Get some coffee. I'm Captain Crane.
Holden. Dr. Alex Holden.
He's an amazing scientist. A few years later, he found a way to go through a space warp and landed on another planet. With no way to get back, he adapted. He changed his name to Kobik and dedicated his life to capturing little people.
We went down in less than 30 seconds after we were hit.
Now, what hit you?
A whale! A very big whale. I got a harpoon into him and he turned on us. Before I knew what happened, my boat was matchwood.
The men think he's a little wackadoodle. He's behaving like it, and he's clearly obsessed with this whale. The thing is, Admiral Nelson believes every word. He knows this guy.
Alex Holden. He's one of the world's leading biochemists.
Come in.
It's ironic, isn't it, Admiral Nelson? That you, of all people, should rescue me. I've often criticized you, Doctor. Not your theories, but your methods.
In a nutshell, his ethics leave something to be desired. He figures all's fair in love and science.
Doctor, what were you doing in restricted waters?
Restricted? I was on the high seas.
You know what we're talking about.
No, I don't. Suppose you tell me, Captain.
Now, you're trying to tell us that you don't know anything about this operation.
What operation? Every maritime nation was ordered to keep their ships out of this area for the next week. It's news to me.
He claims he's had his head so far up his whale he didn't hear maritime radio messages, read newspapers, he has no clue what they're talking about. And he has just a little bit of attitude.
Well, why didn't you answer the radio when we tried to contact you?
Because at that moment I was involved in the most crucial decision of my life. I was in no more mood for a chat then than I am now. Admiral Nelson, you might be able to understand this. That whale I was chasing, it's part of the greatest experiment I've ever attempted. I injected him with certain growth-producing chemicals that could change mankind's whole life pattern.
That's the kind of thing Nelson was talking about. He created that monstrosity with no thought to the consequences. He didn't inform anybody, didn't notify anybody, and didn't pay any attention to the outside world. Now he's boatless in restricted waters, coming aboard another man's boat and trying to order him around. I think the crew were correct. He's just a bit...
I've tracked that beast over 3 oceans. I had to find him and capture him, to obtain tissue samples, to retrieve certain instruments that would complete my experiment. Instead, he killed my crew, smashed my floating laboratory, destroyed my notes. If I lose him now, it may take years to find him again. I want you to help me capture him.
Well, sure, he has nothing better to do than help you clean up your mess. Here's what we don't know and won't find out. Did he do this in a controlled environment and the whale got big enough to escape? Or did he target a free-swimming whale somewhere and expect it to hang around while he hit it with chemicals, instruments, and other annoyances? Either way, he didn't think about what a hazard a creature like that would be in a world that's so much smaller than it is. His crew paid dearly for his short-sightedness.
I'm sorry, Doctor. The answer's no.
As if that's going to be good enough for Ahab. He says, then put me ashore right now. He thought he was on the high seas, so point out the nearest shore to me, Doctor. Riley will escort him to a cabin.
What's all this mumbo-jumbo about restricted areas?
It's not mumbo-jumbo, Dr. Holden. Everybody knows about it.
Everybody but me, it seems.
Oh, well, it's the new canal. They're gonna dig it with nuclear explosions. It was in all the papers.
I haven't seen a paper in months. They're going to start blasting that ditch now?
Yes, sir. At least the first blast. And even the president and a whole aircraft carrier of VIPs are here for the dedication.
The area is restricted because they don't want you to get blown up, Doctor. Say thank you to the nice men. The Seaview is tasked with planting the first bomb. Remember that detonator Nelson put in his safe? Yeah.
Take her up about 8 feet.
Yes, sir.
The Seaview has a great big hatch in the bottom of the hull. We've used it before for diving bells and mini-subs, but this is the first time we actually acknowledge that it's there. It's always a good idea to give due credit to the inanimate objects. You never know.
Admiral, I've told you that my whale can't possibly be clear of the critical area. If you set off that thing now, the shockwave will kill him. You know that.
Your whale and a lot of fish besides. But look at it this way. When we detonate this device, it'll clear a channel half a mile wide, saving millions of dollars in labor costs alone, not to mention the saving in time.
Time and money. I expected more from you, Admiral. Do you have any values left that you don't measure with a dollar sign?
Those things are symbols of making people's lives better, Doctor. You're chasing that whale because you want to make a name for yourself. He never gets around to explaining how his experiment with this whale benefits humankind. Hasn't been much benefit to him so far.
All set when you give the word.
Let's get it in the water, Lee.
From a different angle, we'll see that it says, dang. It's the only one on the boat that's allowed to curse.
We're picking up a blip on sonar. Could be a whale, a big one.
If it is, it's the granddaddy of all whales.
I told you, my whale!
Try to pick it up on the scanner.
Do we take evasive action?
Negative. We can't risk a maneuver with a device out there.
Aye, sir, but it seems to be traveling at a fantastic speed.
How fast?
I know this sounds unbelievable, Admiral, but it's an estimated 50 knots.
And it's heading right at them. They start raising the bomb back up, but they have to be careful about jostling it because it's not that well built.
Skipper, that whale swallowed the device like a chunk of bait.
Now all they can do is follow it and wait for it to come out the other end. Except the cable is still attached.
It snapped.
Or not.
Bad news, Admiral. The President's carrier is already at rendezvous southeast of our position, 42 miles. That's well within the danger area.
He had been thinking about detonating the bomb inside the whale, Holden's protests notwithstanding. Never mind, now they really do have to follow it and maybe try to coax it out of range of the President's carrier. It'll probably mean sacrificing themselves, but every man aboard knows that might have to happen someday. They have their own version of the Kobayashi Maru.
Look, Nelson, you can't just let that whale roam wild. I know him. At any moment he could turn on that carrier.
Yeah, I've thought about that. We're in an impossible situation.
And you can thank Holden for it from start to finish. His carelessness created that thing, and his obsession made it angry. Feed him to it, and maybe it'll spit out the bomb.
Suppose we put a harpoon into him. Full of tranquilizer. I could get my tissue samples, my instruments, and, who knows? I might even disarm your nuclear device.
It's worth a try. Lee, get on it.
Sharky, break out the anodyne.
But they have slightly different ideas about what to do next.
As soon as that whale is tranquilized, I'll have plenty of time to complete my work.
Now, you're wrong. As soon as the whale is tranquilized, we'll order all vessels out of this area and detonate.
Now, you wait a minute. That was my idea. If that idea works, I deserve a chance.
This is no time to make bargains.
By the way, he could throw you in the brig for touching him like that. Be glad he's in a good mood. The first shot isn't strong enough. It's having no effect. Admiral Nelson is calling the President's carrier and telling him to get out of there.
Large whale, dead ahead. Collision course. Evasive action, hard left rudder. Your call. Hold it.
Brace yourselves.
How do you brace yourself against a nuclear bomb, Admiral?
Is he enjoying this? That took down their radio antennas, among other things. They can't get through to the carrier. That was worse. It opened a big crack in the hull and water is pouring in. We'll watch Kowalski and the others get the men out of the damaged compartments and seal them off. They've lost 2 compartments, but no men. Everybody got out. They'll hit this thing with another load of tranquilizer. A much larger dose this time.
It's slowing down.
It's finally working.
Well, let's hope not too well. Fathometer, what's our bottom depth?
Bottom depth 920 feet, sir.
It's too deep. At 900 feet, the bomb will explode.
I was about to say the Seaview has gone twice that deep and come back, so what does he mean? The bomb is a different matter. The whale is right over a shallow ledge, so if they hit it with another dose and put it to sleep, maybe it'll settle there.
He's down on the ledge, quiet as a baby.
Kind of like that. Now they need to get the President's carrier out of the area without a working radio.
How long will it take us to get to them?
Well, it's flank speed. We get close to blinker range at 1 hour and 42 minutes.
Well, first we have to pump the rest of that anodyne into the whale.
Dead tissues are useless to me. The rest of that anodyne might kill him.
Frankly, I hope it does.
Again, Doctor, you created that monstrosity and directly created this issue. I suggest you back off because I think they've both had just about enough of you.
Captain to missile room.
Missile room, aye, aye, sir.
Riley, I want you to load every ounce of anodyne you've got.
No, Captain. What about my tissue samples, my instruments? My life's work is invested in that whale.
Give me 1 hour out there. 1 hour.
I'm warning you, Doctor. One more outburst like that and I'll put you under arrest.
Told you. He barges into Admiral Nelson's office.
Doctor, as a scientist, you have my sympathy totally. But you must realize, in this case, my responsibility goes far beyond any single scientific discovery.
You're backing up your captain.
Yes, I am.
Well, you leave me no alternative.
Mastodon.
Sir?
I want you to escort Dr. Holden to his cabin, lock the door, and keep him there.
We know a threat when we hear one, but as desperate as he is, I recommend having at least 2 men escort him. They need to teach that master at arms how to do this. First, you don't get that close. Second, you don't leave any opening where you might be vulnerable. And third, keep your eye on him. He makes his way to the missile room.
Dr. Holden, thought they'd have you locked up in your cabin by now.
Your captain gave me a reprieve. Where's your partner?
He went down to storage for the rest of our anodyne.
Good.
Riley is down. Kowalski just returned with the rest of the anodyne.
Say, Riley, these are the only 2 cans of... What the... Hey, Riley.
Missile room report. Riley, Kowalski.
That's gonna leave a mark. He starts destroying the cans and dumping out all the anodyne. If he was anywhere near his right mind, he'd be grabbing scuba gear instead and heading outside to collect his stuff. And he'd better hurry. That whale is starting to wake up.
It was Holden. Kowalski, you all right?
I think so, sir.
Get a detail and put him under arrest.
They'll do that just as soon as they find him, which they can't. Crane orders everybody on deck and searching for Holden.
In there. Go in there.
Too bad nobody noticed the tie. Holden isn't wearing one.
Mr. Morton. All right, come on, let's get on with the search. Come on. I'm sorry, Mr. Morton. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
But he is. He's been through worse. He'll let it go. Kowalski's expression was goofy enough to pacify him. The president's carrier is still too close to ground zero. They'll try to surface and contact it. But first they need to be absolutely sure that thing is down for the count. Riley and Kowalski have scooped up, sopped up, and everything but licked up all the anodyne they can and put it in the next charge. It had better be enough.
He's still on the ledge. I don't know for how long.
Look. That's incredible. He shouldn't have been able to move for hours.
A whale the size of a supertanker with the metabolism of a hummingbird. I'm still waiting for Holden to explain how this benefits my future generations. Plus, you may have noticed that it's moving toward the edge.
Well, that's not good.
Now hear this. This is Dr. Holden speaking. I will give you this order only once. If you choose to disobey, the consequences will be your responsibility. The choice is yours. You have 1 minute to stop all engines and bring the Seaview to a complete halt. 1 minute.
He could be bluffing.
But I don't think so.
The firing device. That's the one place no one would look for it.
He has the detonator and he's crazy enough to use it. How that saves his life's work, you'd have to ask his scrambled brain.
Stop all engines. Hold up position.
Aye, sir.
Looking for this, Captain?
How did he do that? He used that big wrench on Kowalski, but I don't think it works well as a pry bar.
You've seen what a mad whale can do.
I assure you, a mad scientist can be far more destructive.
Again, how does blowing himself and the whale up preserve his life's work? He already said everything else went down with the ship. This is all he has, and he's prepared to vaporize it so he can... This is making my synapses hurt. He demands a mini-sub, scuba gear, and survival gear. As quick as he's away, the Seaview can scamper on out of bomb range. He doesn't care. What's his end game? What does he do from there? Once the Seaview makes her report, any country or state he lands in will arrest him on sight and throw him in a nice deep hole where nobody will ever hear of his great work. But I admit I'm marginally sane. California once made a law about that, after which they deported me to Idaho.
Blow all tanks, fore and aft.
Aye, sir.
All ahead flank.
Aye, sir. All ahead flank.
The Seaview is getting out of there at
running.
speed. Once they're closer to the surface, they reach the aircraft carrier and it does the same. Holden is approaching the whale.
The whale's dropping over the ledge. He'll hit bottom any second.
All hands, prepare for shockwave. Secure all ports.
Aye, sir.
Close all crash doors. Secure for shockwave.
Mr. Morton reported that they're a little over 3 miles from the whale. Hopefully that's enough. They're still running at holy crap, get us out of here speed. I don't think it understands sign language. Try semaphore. Never mind. The Seaview and the carrier are seriously shaken up, but everybody is okay.
Then we're in the clear, in spite of Holden. There's no point in blaming him. He's out of our jurisdiction.
Kevin Hagen is always a joy to watch. We loved to hate him in Land of the Giants, and he was just as unlikable here. Then he turned around and played kindly old Dr. Baker in Little House on the Prairie. You just never know. I was happy to see that he'll be back here in season 4. Irwin liked to make use of his talents. He knew the best ones when he saw them. And by the way, Holden was to blame because his experiment was reckless. Next time, experiment on guppies, dude. If they grow to 50 times their size, you have a trout wannabe. That the Seaview can handle. I'm breathing underwater. I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater.